So today is June 20th, 2017, and we're in Hutchinson, Minnesota. My name is Dylan.
I'm Phil.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Colin.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Geri.
Geri, why don't you go ahead and tell us your story?
Okay, I'm Geri Johnson. We live here in Hutchinson. I'm quite vigilant about my annual physicals, always have been, always will be. And in 1995, I went for my physical on my 50th birthday, and my doctor discovered a mole on my back that he said looked quite worrisome. And so then and there he did a biopsy, a surgical biopsy, and sent it in, and the margins came back and they were not clear, which meant it was a bit bigger than what he had hoped. And so the next week, our surgeon here in Hutchinson performed quite extensive surgery on my back. He went wide and he went really deep. And it was a long 2 weeks waiting for the path report to come back. But when it came back, we celebrated because all the margins were clear, which meant I didn't need further treatment. And that was good because in 1995, there wasn't a lot of treatment available for melanoma. But he wanted me to be under the care of an oncologist, and we didn't have an oncologist here in Hutch at the time, and so I went into Minneapolis to Abbott Northwestern at the Piper Center, and I saw Dr. Barbara Bowers for 8 years. The first year it was every 3 months, and then the second year every 6 months, and we finally got it out to once a year. And after 8 years, she released me, and life was good. That was in April. I went in for my annual exam in November of 2006, 5 maybe, not sure. And at that time, my doctor thought a routine colonoscopy was a good idea, so we set that up for the next week. I'd been having absolutely no symptoms. And the doctor was performing the colonoscopy, and I could hear him in the corner on the telephone, and that wasn't routine, I didn't think. And then we went back to the recovery room, and they wouldn't give me any toast. And so then I knew something was up. And he came in and said that they needed to do surgery immediately. And it was very large in my colon. I said, I can't do surgery today. I have to go home. We have to call our kids. We have to call my parents. I have to process this a little bit, but I said, I'll meet you back here as early as you want me in the morning. And so we went back. I couldn't eat or drink anything, of course, and our surgeon performed the surgery, and he was very confident that surgery would be all the treatment I would need. Well, unfortunately, 2 days later, when the path report came back, it had gone into my lymph system, which puts you at stage 3 automatically. And when you're at stage 3, then chemotherapy is in your future. And so I started 3 different drugs. There was a 5-FU, there was oxaliplatin, and there was leucovorin. And it wasn't pleasant, I'm the first to say that. But they managed my side effects pretty well. I did not lose my hair from those drugs, which a lot of people think hair isn't a big deal, but every morning when friends of mine look in the mirror who have lost their hair, it's just another reminder that cancer has entered your life and has changed your life dramatically. So we started chemo on a Monday. They dripped for about 4 hours, and then I wore an infusion pump. They had surgically put a port into me for all blood testing and the chemo, and so they did the drip through that, and then I was sent home for 48 hours with a little fanny pack that buzzed and put some more chemicals into my system, and I would get that out on a Wednesday, and then I'd have those few days and then the whole next week to feel better, and then we repeated it for 12 treatments. And it took longer than usual because my neutrophils didn't want to build themselves back up all the time. And they could have boosted them, but that meant I had to leave the study that I was in, and I'm a firm believer that if there is a study to be in, you should participate. And so we just waited it out, and in July of 2006, I was done with chemo and follow up again with, by now we have an oncologist here, and he was wonderful, and so we did CT scans and blood work and those sorts of things for, I think, 6 or 7 more years. And by then I decided I was going to release myself. So I still go every year to my primary care doctor, but I'm a survivor. I've not had a recurrence. Very thankful. And that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
What kind of advice or lesson would you want to give to people in a similar situation?
Well, my first piece of advice is always be vigilant about your wellness checks. That is so important. And then if you do find a little boulder in your path, hit it head on, and depend on others. Don't think you can do it yourself, because you can't. And sharing your story really does help. You can talk about it, and you might meet a friend through that who's walked a similar path, and they can be of help to you. And now I find that I can be of help to others, especially with a colon cancer. You know, I can't identify with breast cancer, but I can identify with colon cancer and melanoma. And now they've made giant strides in melanoma. But please wear sunscreen.